Time to be you, bro. That's what we're talking about today, boys. Because, man, if there's ever been a time in our lives, I was going to say human history, but especially our lives, if you're like in your 20s, 30s, or maybe you're reaching your 20s, dude, it doesn't even matter. Even if you're in your 40s, 50s, bro, and you somehow are stumbling across this, what's up? It's time to be you, bro. It's more important than ever. It's more important than ever to share who you are, man. We need more authentic people sharing what it actually is to be a person, man. Share your perspectives. Share what you feel, share what you think. Across the board, man, we got to heal this. We got to heal this place through the interwebs, bro. It's our little channeling sector to cast these spells to maybe create a little more positive environment around us. Because, man, I think a lot of us, we see through, definitely across the board, we see through the entertainment meta that's been kind of plaguing the minds of Americans since, I guess, probably since the 80s, but maybe a little bit sooner than that or earlier than that, but especially in like the 2000s when we grew up, bro. MTV, Super Bowl, politics. We all understand the meta, and we're all kind of over the meta. Maybe not all of us, but I think a lot of us are. You actually scroll these social media feeds and just kind of see that kind of disingenuous content of people, oh, here's 5 life hacks. It's like they're clearly doing some kind of meta, trying to get the views, which, I respect the hustle. And maybe that is who you are in this moment. So still do that. As long as you're doing it, doesn't matter. There's ways to word anything to, try to get the algorithm a little bit. I guess we all have to do that in some sense. So I'm not necessarily talking shade on it. I'm just saying, if that doesn't feel like you, man, don't wait for someone to pave the way for you. It's already all been paved, bro. There's so many avenues, so many roads to go down. And we're still going to be complacent. We're still going to sit back and be like, oh, I don't know which one's for me. It's like, bro, you probably don't know because no one's been you yet, dude. You're your own creative character. No one's going to be exactly you. So no matter what you see out there, you're like, oh, I can never do that if you think that way. You're like, oh, where do I fit in? Or I can never see myself selling my soul, I guess. There's a better word I could come up with, but selling like your soul, like who you actually are to try to make a quick buck. I don't think that matters anymore, man. I think there's a good amount of people who see through that, who don't care for that, who kind of find that to be cringe. Because it's gotten to the point where it's so meta, where it's interesting. It's like we understand what makes something successful, so everyone starts plaguing that, starts surrounding that and doing that. And in this entertainment sphere of, catching someone's attention through the means of, some kind of talent or art or brain rot or just nonsense, psychological tricks have been figured out to make it metanized to, min max your probability of becoming successful, quote unquote, in this day and age, And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad if what you're doing is you. Like, if you're really into politics, like if you love it, bro, doesn't matter what side you're on. We'll use the left for this example. If you're really into left leaning politics, like you love it, that's okay. If you love it, share what you think about it, bro. Share what you think about it. We need more people just sharing what they think with their voice. With their voice, bro. That abracadabra. You say it so it becomes true. You say it because it exists. Or at least now it does. There's a vibration when we speak, bro. And everything's vibrations, dude. So as I'm saying this, is it bouncing off my walls and just hitting me? Maybe. Maybe I'm giving myself a little self buff right now. Maybe I'm healing myself by bouncing this energy back to me, dude. I'm like Mantis in Marvel Rivals. I'm clicking F, giving myself a buff right now. But if you're hearing this, hopefully it buffs you too, It's all energy, man. It's all vibrations. And that's why I think it's so important to speak what you think. And I think typing or just thoughts, it's not the same. It's 100% not the same. Just because you think a thing doesn't necessarily make that you, bro. I think it's Carl Jung. Is it Carl Jung or Terence McKenna? It's a fun quote. He says, when you're thinking, you're actually listening. And I find that interesting. Because where do these ideas even come from, bro? It is interesting that, like, I don't know if you guys get, like, mad fun ideas sometimes. Like, you guys, like, see a full, flushed out, like, kind of project or something. Or just a scenario. Just something fun. You're like, bro, where did that... In this moment, everything that in my life led up to that moment of that goofy thought. And did I actually create that, or did I tap into something? Because if you guys have ever done anything creative and you're in that vibe, let's say if you're making music or something, it is interesting how those ideas just start flowing. You hear a thing that isn't there, and then you make it become so. Then you create it. So did you actually... It's like you're tapping into something. You guys get what I'm saying? It's like you actually are channeling something. And I think there's so many ways of wording this human experience, man. Like channelers. You know, back in the day, people like, or I guess to this day still, it's like tapping into spirits. And I think that's what spirits are, man. It's your subconscious. Those little thoughts that kind of go left and right. You're like, bro, is that me or is that something else? And not in a sense of like, don't think of like spirits like a ghost or like a ghoul. Just think of like an energy that exists already that you tapped into. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were talking about, bro. I think it's a language. I think like demons, angels, ghosts, and ghouls, all that stuff, I think it's a language to describe conscious thought, but also subconscious thought, more importantly. And it's interesting, man. Because none of us really... Because, I don't know, man. It's like... Now I'm talking about that topic. It's like, bro, we've been brainwashed to think like ghosts and ghouls and goblins and demons and all that stuff, like the Hollywood version of it. And no wonder so many people think like, oh, that doesn't exist. It's like, what does that even mean, bro? What does that mean that doesn't exist? Yeah, in that form, like a 3D demon coming out here, bro. Yeah. That's our human way of understanding or putting like a graphic, an animation to a thing to describe an ideology. That's why it's so hard for some people to understand religious text, bro. It's because they look at it like 3D, like this is a Disney movie. It's like it's deeper than that, bro. It's a language. It's a language to try to get an idea across with the best words that we have at that moment to try and describe this ideology, this experience, this human experience. I think a lot of us try to ignore, man. A lot of us try to ignore, or some people just view it like too realistically, which is a hard... I don't like really saying realistically, because if you can think it, it's real, bro. It went through your head. It's a real experience. It's a real thing. What's real? Because at the end of the day, bro, it's interesting. Because at the end of the day, everything you've ever experienced has been a solo experience, right? No one knows truly exactly how you feel exactly about a thing, right? We can try to explain it and share our thoughts and share what we're thinking. And hopefully the point gets across. But no matter what, it's going to funnel through however the other person views reality, bro. So there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong or right. It just is. Just is. And you can make an argument with literally anything. And the power of words, bro. You can literally word anything to make the opposite of whatever statement true. It's a paradox, bro. It's a brain paradox. We can literally argue anything. So no, it does not make you smart to argue, bro. It makes you smart to add on. I call it adding ingredients to the sandwich, bro. So if I come to you with some white bread, now we're doing wheat bread. We're doing whole grain Dave's bread, all right? I got it. And then we have a buddy here, Thomas. He wants to toast the bread. He just added a new layer to our sandwich we're all going to share together. You bring the turkey, right? And then David wants to put on some ham. Cool. And then Clarissa wants to add in some bacon, bro. We're just building on top of it. It's not like, oh, It's not arguing against it, it's building on top of it because nothing's necessarily wrong. There's negativity, but I don't know why you'd ever be negative. That's only affecting you and the people around you, bro. You're a disease at that point. Kind of joking, but it's kind of true, bro. Like if you're affecting people or yourself in a negative way more times than you are positive, it's like, bro, you're like bacteria, dude. You're a disease. You're sick, bro. But for real, man. It's all just adding to the sandwich of the human experience, bro. And why would you ever be negative? Because, dude, I don't know. I think the best way of living in a very simplistic way is to find the positive or be indifferent. And to be indifferent is to understand. And you can't hate something you understand. You can't. I don't think you can, bro. If you can connect 1 and 2 and you got 3 and you understand how we got the 3, how can you hate it? It just makes sense now. You know what I mean? You might be like, oh, why are we like that as people? If you're looking at it like a more social construct type thing, like why aren't we morally better than that? And that's a good question, man. That's a good question. But a lot of times with us kind of normal guys, normal folks, it's because we were brainwashed, man. And that might sound like, oh, we're brainwashed. It's like, bro, just think about it. Pay attention to the dialogue of the next movie you watch. Pay attention to the themes. Pay attention to the conflict. Pay attention to the resolve. Pay attention to that stuff. It's all very similar. It's all very similar. And I'm not saying you can't have fun. I watched the new Captain America movie. Wasn't that great? I wouldn't even argue it's good. Well, there definitely was some propaganda in there for sure. But I was trying to say that because you can still enjoy things, man. Don't rob yourself of enjoyment. Be positive or be indifferent. Or secret third option, view things as absurd as it actually is. If you can kind of ground yourself in, like, it's absurd that any of this is even happening at once. How absurd everything is. Honestly, I think liberation, man, is coming from knowledge. And I think it's from understanding or the willingness to understand. Because how can we actually, I don't think we can ever fully understand the big scope of things. And maybe we subconsciously know that, and that's why a lot of people don't even try. Because it is, like, no matter how far you get, you probably won't fully understand everything, but you can find a sweet spot. You can find a sweet spot, man. And that's just peace, man. That's acceptance. You know, going with the flow. And it's interesting, man. Humans, we've talked about this type of stuff throughout history, bro. It's just worded differently. They use whatever words they had to describe this idea. So they're like, "Oh man, how do you go through life, bro, without with all this suffering?" And it's like, bro, just treat life like a river, dude. It's like, let's say we're in like Japan or whatever, in like the 18th century, 16th century, maybe even before then. And it's like, they're just using whatever words to get the idea across. And the guy's like, bro, you be like a river. Just go with the flow, dude. I guess we still say that to this day. But it's like, you guys get what I'm saying? We just use whatever best words we have to try and describe something that almost can't be described. It's like if you can view things, if you can understand the metaphorical level of words, bro. And honestly, kind of in a mean way, I think that is what separates an NPC from a creative character, dude. Someone who actually can understand the deeper meaning of things. You know? Someone who actually can critically think, but not have pride of what they find, but just knowing what they found also exists, dude. That it exists. It existed. You found that moment. It was in your head, dude. Like, it happened for a moment. You know what I mean? This world's weird, man. This world's weird, but just be you, bro. Be you. And when I say be you, dude, I'm not saying go on like, don't waste your time on social media and stuff. Unless you're getting that bag, I guess. I'm saying like be like who you actually are. Discover who you actually are. Why do you think this way? Why do you feel this way? Why do certain things make you happy? Why do certain things make you upset? What would you actually like to do here? And regardless, man, it all ends. It doesn't matter if it's today or 20 years from now, 50 years from now. It doesn't matter, bro. It's already happened. You know? We know. I say we know like I'm the one wearing a lab coat figuring this out. But we know that all time is happening simultaneously all at once. And we're just constructed to our 4D reality due to, the bending of time and space if you were to use Einstein's, general relativity, right? Gravity, whatever gravity is. That thing that pulls, that makes us more dense and kind of live in constricted to the moment, right? Because all these other planets, they're on their own cycle. Have you guys seen Interstellar? Remember when they went to that planet and they were down there for like 2 hours? And then they get back up to the ship and the guy up there aged like 30 years or whatever. It's relative, bro. It's all happening all at once. You're already dead, bro. You already are, dude. You already are, man. And if that's not true, then time travel would be impossible. But we know, and again, I'm saying this like I'm the one in a lab coat, but we know that theoretically time travel is possible. There's some fun theories that it's already been accomplished. That's fun. But we know with the laws of physics that it's technically possible. It's technically possible. And because it's possible, that means it's all happening all at once, bro. So what do you actually want to do while you're here, bro? You're already watching the highlights of your life right now. The tape is playing, bro. It's already playing. We're done, dude. We're cooked. But I don't know. I guess I'll leave this on one thing. So if you listen this long, here's a little gem for you. I think, bro, the only thing that matters is mentality and how you view things. And love, bro. Love and understanding. And if you can be that right now, you can be that way forever. And sometimes, man, I worry about where our mental is the moment we are passing away. I think that's what we'll experience. Meaning, if you're positive, content, happy, quote unquote happy, loving's a better word. When you pass, if you're in that conscious state as you start to lose consciousness, I think you'll experience, what people would call heaven. At least for a little bit. It probably feels like forever, but it's probably just for a little bit. But if you're in a bad one, man, in a hateful, resentful, regretful place as you pass, I think that's where you go to the hell realm, dude. 100%. And one day I'll be able to word this better. But I think it's just got to be. So if you can live, depending on where you're living right now, is where the thing is. So the power of free will is we can change that. We all, it's the contrast. We got to feel the dark depths, and then we got to feel the heavenly lights too. It's the contrast to understanding, right? It's the only way to understand either one is to level up in each zone. So the free will is we get to choose when to change that. But just make sure you change and pick the right one, or the more positive one, the loving one, before you're done, bro. Because you're already done. It's already over. So try to be in that zone as much as you can, because once you actually come face to face with the moment of over, that might be where you're stuck, bro. Some of you boys know what I'm saying. One day I'll be able to word this better, but thanks for listening, boys. Make sure to do something for yourself today. Make sure to do something for someone else today. Regardless, man, just be you. Just share you. Level up yourself, dude. Why not? No one's you. No one can do what you can do if you actually tap into you. So it's all unknown. It's unknown to all of us what you're capable of, dude. You're the only one who can actually know. So just throw it out there, bro. This ends. Why not? Take care.